Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Good morning, it's the Workers Beat. I'm Gene Lantz and my partner,
Bonnie Mathias. Good morning.
972-647-1893 is the number. Bunch of things coming up, as always.
Bunch of stuff happened this week.
Yeah, I think this is a revolution that started.
Baby.
Nobody got the memo. Okay, today there's a move on teach-in on the Trans-Pacific Partnership taking place at 10 o'clock at UAW Local 276, and the address is 2505 W.E. Roberts in Grand Prairie. Now, if you're using an old map, it'll show it as Sherman Street. But for the last 7 or 8 years, it's been W.E. Roberts, and the address is 2505. Starts at 10 o'clock, talking about what the other side calls free trade, what we call globalization. September the 8th, which is tomorrow, is Grandparents' Day at the Pavilion at Lake Cliff Park. This will be put on by the Texas Alliance for Retired Americans, which is my organization.
And
I'm proud to be a member.
That's a beautiful park.
The pavilion is not in the front part of Lake Cliff Park. There's 2 or 3 things that look kind of like pavilions, but the pavilion is actually on Crawford Street, which is on the south side of Lake Cliff Park. And this starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. It's a picnic, and it's free. Everybody come. On September the 9th, negotiations begin for a contract at United Auto Workers 848 in Grand Prairie. I want to talk about that some more because there's a very serious situation where they're closing down the plant. On September the 10th at 7 o'clock, health care information at the Zan Holmes Community Life Center, 6211 East Grand Avenue, and the zip code is 75223. And here's the number to call for more information, 214-729-1119. That's at the Zan Holmes Community Life Center at 7 o'clock on September the 10th. What is that, Tuesday or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Tuesday.
Bonnie's union is working on that. What's your union got to do with it, Bonnie?
Communications Workers of America, Local 6215. We partnered with many other organizations throughout Texas and throughout Dallas, including City Square and Texas Organizing Project, the Communities Foundation. Oh my goodness, there's just a bunch
of people, and and the idea is for people to find out what they can do about health care.
Do you qualify? If you qualify, here's how you can sign up. If you don't qualify, here's what you need to do.
And how you can get some of this paid for too.
Yes.
If you meet the requirements.
Absolutely.
So the health care burden is going to fall on people that have got the money to pay for it, but those that don't have the money to pay for it, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. President Obama figured out something for you.
Yes.
Okay, we were supposed to have Working America today, and I want to say a word or two about Working America because we're going to get them sooner or later. The problem is that they don't have anybody in Dallas. Their nearest organizer is Darrell Douglas, your friend, Bonnie.
Yeah, I thought,
he was supposed to come, and he called last night at the last minute and said he could not come. So Darrell Douglas will be here sooner or later to talk about Working America. We're also hoping for a call from a guy named Mark, which we want to put on as soon as he gets here. Because he's at the national convention of the AFL-CIO.
All right.
Which is going, in all estimations, is going to be a historic meeting where labor is really changing. It's changing so fast now nobody can keep up. But anyway, getting back to Working America, everybody can join Working America. It's online. It's workingamerica.org, and it's $5 a year for anybody to join. And when they join, they become a member of the AFL-CIO. That doesn't mean that they have a union steward to cover for them at work, and stuff like that. but it does mean that they're members of the labor movement, and so consequently, I've been urging for a long time. I've been urging everybody to do this. $5 a year, and what you get out of this is you just become part of the whole network that involves labor. Everybody's forming networks. There's coalition after coalition. In fact, I bet there's 10 people right now in town in Dallas starting what they call a new umbrella organization that they expect everybody else to join their organization. And they contact me all the time. We want you to join us. And I say, why don't you join us?
Right. We've been around longer than you.
Yeah. But anyway, there's always new people coming in. Join my coalition. I'm the top of the heap, and everybody else has got to get in under me. This goes on all the time. And I don't blame people for doing that, because they don't understand the situation. They don't understand how you build stuff up from nothing to getting somewhere. But the labor movement does. And in my opinion, and this is a very important point, in my opinion, the labor movement is the leadership, the workers' movement is the leadership that can win.
Oh, yes.
It's you could say, well, no, it's not the working people, it's the poor people, or it's the African American people. And I don't blame them for thinking that, because African American people have led an awful lot of progress in the United States. But don't forget that African Americans are working people. So the idea that I'm propounding here is that working people are the center of the progressive movement, and they're the most likely to be able to win. Nobody else can actually stand up to the bosses.
Right.
Only organized workers can stand up to the bosses. And when you get right down to it, the bosses are the problem.
Yep.
You have to understand what the problem is and what the solution comes from an understanding of the problem.
Well, right, and I want to, for just a second, now I'm not defending management in any stretch of the imagination, but if they say stuff rolls downhill, and that's what happens. It comes from way up in the ivory tower, in the big corporations, and it all rolls downhill, and the management below are expected to do what the people upstairs said.
Not only expected to do it, they have to do it.
They have to do it, because in fear of their jobs.
They'll get somebody else.
That's right.
It's true.
And it falls eventually to the first line managers to make those changes. And it's really, really difficult. Those poor folks need a union, let me tell you.
Everybody, not everybody, but many people make a big mistake when they complain about each other. And you hear this in the union movement as well. You hear union officers say, "Well, we could really get somewhere in this company with this situation if the membership would just act better." We've got our members are all dumbasses, or something like that. And then you hear it in politics. They say, "Well, if the Democrats would only vote, we've got so many Democrats, but they don't vote, and so we sit and cuss the ones that didn't." The people we should be cussing, frankly, are the problem, and the problem is gigantic corporate America and the people who control them. And you could go on further down the ladder and say the politicians, the corrupt politicians that they have bought out, or the police that they have bought out,
Right.
You could blame other people, but at the top of it, the ones that are really pulling the strings are corporate America,
Yep.
the richest people in America, and the system that we're in is working perfectly well for them.
It's kind of sucking for us down here. But.
Yeah, even the school system, the employment system, all these things are working pretty well for them, and that's why they keep things the way they are. So if you want to cuss somebody, cuss them, and try to get everybody else to pull together. That's the secret. That's why I'm advocating everybody join Working America. I know it's not going to enrich your life. You're not going to become a millionaire the next day like they promise you in church, in some churches.
Some churches.
But you'll be part of the movement that can win if you join Working America. And it's only $5 a year.
That's pretty cool. And I gotta say, last Saturday after we left here, we went to the Texas Theater, and there was a panel with Mark Vesey and Roberto Alonso and the AFL-CIO attorney Rick Levy, and also my buddy Colby from Our Walmart.
That was cool.
Oh man,
Colby stole the show.
I know he did. I walked outside for a second and I came back in and I went, oh my gosh. He had folks on their feet. It was awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
it was.
And then
Colby Harris also got arrested the day before
yes,
yesterday.
he
We
sure
saw him going to jail, carried off
Along with
by
Mark
the police,
York and-
along with the head of the Dallas AFL-CIO.
That's right. And Russell, another member of TWU.
Yeah, from TWU.
Yeah.
And several people from United Food and Commercial Workers and from our Walmart, people that work for Walmart.
That's right.
They were,
11 people.
What were they protesting?
No respect at Walmart. That's it. People that work at Walmart, it's not all roses. It's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly. I mean, the average pay for a Walmart worker, which there are very few full-time workers, is $8.81 an hour.
Yeah, and there's hardly any of them get to work full time. That's the big problem. Anyway, they got arrested and were carried off to jail. And some of us thought, well, they'll be right back. They didn't get out till way in the early hours the next morning. It was 7 or so the next morning.
I warned them.
Well, you can't make a deal with the police.
No, and I did. I tried to manage people's expectations because they thought they were going to be, out in an hour or so.
Yeah, because there was a bondsman waiting for them at the jail.
Right, but I have been through a tour at Lou Sterrett, and I can tell you, after going through the Citizens Prosecutor Academy, you are going to spend about 8 hours to get out of there.
Because it takes them that long to process you. And if it's
in.
at night, you can't find a judge.
And believe it or not, they're busier during the week than they are on the weekends. So
I'm pretty sure that Mark York did manage to get up in time to get out of jail in time to go to the National AFL-CIO convention.
Right, and Colby was getting on a flight.
When he calls, I want him to put him right through.
Yes.
If he calls, because I would like to get some information from the National Convention. What have you heard about the National Convention? What's different about this year, Bonnie?
Well, from my understanding, it's we've been having these listening sessions, AFL-CIO.
That's different. Those
different,
listening sessions is entirely different.
And I believe that's what they want to incorporate because we're reaching out and asking, won't you come join us? It used to be the union thugs, right? Well, we are still union thugs, but
just you and me.
Just you and me, yeah. But it was we're in the union and we're all special and you're not. But
that was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago. But it's true.
A long time ago, the union was almost an exclusive club.
Yep.
And you would hear union leaders say, people don't deserve Social Security, they don't deserve health care and that sort of thing because they're not in my union. If they want Social Security, if they want pensions, they should join my union.
That's right.
I actually heard a major leader here in Dallas say that one time.
Wow.
He said he was against all kinds of social benefits for anybody
except
because
union.
if they want anything, they have to join my union.
Wow. Wouldn't it be nice if it was that easy? Oh man, that'd be awesome. That's what they were talking about in the show before us. But
that was 25 years ago. Now they're working on a different way. They're being inclusive.
That's right.
Trying to get all working people. That's why they set up Working America.
Yep.
See, Working America is fairly new. It's only 10 or 12 years old.
I was going to say, yeah.
Where they want all Americans to sign up for $5 a year and at workingamerica.org. So that's new. And these listening sessions were new, and they're having more listening sessions at the convention.
At the convention, yeah.
And they've been distilling all these ideas, I sent some ideas. My idea was to pay more attention to the constituency groups and make them more viable and more help.
APRI, CLU, yeah.
You want to explain what constituency groups are?
Constituency groups are groups outside of work groups. Again,
you just lost something. Your microphone just went dead.
If my mic did?
No. Yeah, it's going back and forth.
Okay.
Doc, maybe she needs a new microphone.
And this keeps going back and forth. So if I look funny, don't laugh.
No, it's the microphone. Just don't touch
good.
that
It's
cord.
not me.
Anyway, you were saying constituency groups.
Right, constituency groups. There's a Philip Randolph Institute of Dallas. They have one in Houston. They have groups all over the country.
Anybody can join it.
Yes.
They don't even have to be a union member.
That's right. You don't have to be.
But the thing that they pay more attention to is civil rights for African Americans.
Right. Exactly.
And then there's LACLA.
Yes.
Labor
LACLA.
Council for Latin American Advancement. And anybody can join it. I'm a member of that one. But but it's primarily for
Latinos.
civil rights for Latinos.
Right.
And what about Pride at Work?
Pride at Work is a LGBT group that you don't have to be a union member.
Anybody can join.
Anybody can join.
But what it mostly pays attention to is the rights on the job for gay people.
LGBT.
Right.
Q is, there's a Q on the end now. I found that out. It's questioning.
GTQ, questioning.
Yep, questioning.
Of people that aren't sure.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Learn
there's
something new
always
every day,
constituency
right?
groups. The one I'm the most interested in, because I'm a retiree, is American Alliance for Retired Americans. And then we have a Texas Alliance for Retired Americans. We're putting on the picnic on Sunday.
And you're the
for
president,
example.
right?
Well, I'm the president of the state, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Not of the
Right.
national.
No, the state, yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good deal. I mean, it doesn't pay anything.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, like, you're getting rich on that one, aren't you?
It pays the same as we get
As
here.
this one? Okay, good.
For being a famous broadcaster on Knon, like Bonnie Mathias, you get paid just what Bonnie Mathias gets paid.
That's right. That would be nothing.
That would be nothing. So anyway, all of the constituency groups. There's one for Pacific Rim, Asians primarily, but
That's
you don't have
right.
to be an Asian to be in it.
Right.
But you have to be interested in civil rights for Asians, and so all of these different constituency groups. That was my suggestion: is that we energize them more and make them a more effective part of the labor movement, because a lot of these little groups will start. And it kind of becomes a club for union members, and particularly just for one union. You know, like whoever's the chairman of the group, you know, their union will be heavily represented, and the other unions won't even pay any attention to it. But the main thing is that in almost all the constituency groups, there is some way for civilians to join, people that are not union members.
Yes.
And so that's certainly true of the Alliance for Retired Americans, where we go out like crazy trying to get people that are not union members, because here in Texas, what do we got? 6%, 6.5%.
I think so.
Of the working people are union members, and that's not the worst state in the union.
No, but it's,
to my surprise.
It's close.
But it's close to the bottom, and
we have other things that we're number one in.
but the other 94% of the retirees is what we're after. That's who we want to. We want to get all retirees in the Alliance for Retired Americans. So that was my suggestion: was to energize these constituency groups and get them going better. I didn't really tell them how that could be done, but that was.
Well, I mean, all they asked
suggestion.
for suggestions. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Did you make any suggestions?
I did not. I did not. You know, one thing that I did suggest to our CLC is to, because according to our Constitution, the constituency groups should have a seat at the board, at the executive board. Now, they can't vote on elections and so forth, but they do have a seat on the e-board.
That's in the Constitution
Yes.
for the Dallas Central Labor Council.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that.
So
I
Nancy
could be
Hall,
I could be on the board even if I wasn't
Yes,
on
sir.
the board anyway.
That's right.
I'm on the
That's
board
right.
because of United Auto Workers.
Right. But you could be.
I could be on it anyway.
That's correct.
That's interesting. That way, the
So-
UAW, my union, could get another seat.
There you go. There you go. Well, and Lorraine Campbell Hunter is the chair of our APRI chapter. She could have a seat on board. You know, it's you need to have a voice at that e-board, in my opinion. And he did say he was going to reach out. So,
You were talking about Mark York, the new
Yes, sir.
the new principal officer.
Yeah.
I call him the principal officer, but that's not a title.
No.
It just means he's the main officer.
Right. He's-
Actually, we only have one officer that's paid.
we
We have one
it's
paid
him,
officer,
right?
and
Yeah.
that's him.
That's him. Yeah.
His
'Cause-
title is financial secretary treasurer, but that's too long.
I know.
And it sounds like he's not the big wheel. but
Kind of
he's the big wheel.
redundant too, financial secretary. Treasurer.
He might call. I hope he calls today.
I
We'll
hope
be
he
right.
does too.
We'll be right back.
My buddy Joe was missing. There's a machine set in his place. I turned around and I asked my boss, can you tell me what?
Knon thanks you for your pledge to our recent pledge drive. Now's the time to make your pledge count. Knon has a new address for you to send your pledge to. Knon no longer uses a P.O. box. Send your pledge to Knon 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas 75235. If you missed our pledge drive, you can still support community radio by pledging on the web at knon.org. Your pledge only counts if you pay it. Remember, don't use the P.O. box. Send that pledge to Knon KNON, 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200 in Dallas, 75235. Be sure to put the name of the show you are supporting on the check or money order or the envelope. Questions about KNON Pledge Drive, 214-828-9500, extension 234.
When they're gone for good. This is Scott from KNON's Texas Blues Radio telling you don't miss out on some great blues. KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. It's a CD put together by real blues fans for real blues fans like you. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 features great local blues from Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, JJ and the Detonators, the Chris Watson Band, the Two Tones, Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, Dave Millsap, Sirloin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Tutu Jones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, and Johnny Red and the Roosters. Get a copy now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records. This is a Dallas Blues collector's item. A very limited amount of vinyl copies can be found at Forever Young Records, the sponsor of this great blues project. CD downloads are available at cdbaby.com. Whether you get it as a download, on vinyl, or on CD, all the proceeds will benefit KNON. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org.
Blue Monday, how I hate Blue Monday. Got to work like a slave all day. Here come Tuesday.
We love that song.
Oh, Tuesday.
That's phenomenal.
I'm so tired, got no time.
Blue Monday. Okay, we were talking about the AFL-CIO convention.
Yes.
This is where the leaders of the labor movement in America,
All over the country.
from all over the country, get together and they set trends and policies.
Right.
They can't enforce it. It's not like the Federation controls the money or something, because they don't.
Right. No.
What they control, though, is the ability to coordinate.
That's right.
And that's very, very, very important in the American labor movement. It's very democratic. It's so democratic sometimes you get
you
so
just
tired.
want to scream.
Yeah, you just want to scream because you got to sit there and listen while they have maybe a vote from the floor, and maybe all the delegates have to vote, and there's hundreds of them. So it gets pretty tiresome sometimes to go through the democracy, but it's very democratic, and I'm hoping to see some major changes come out of this. And I know one person that is really looking for major changes is Mark York.
Yes.
The new officer here in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He's already pushed me. He's already pushed me into tripling or doubling or quadrupling our electronic outreach. I don't know if you've gotten any of the emails from Dallas AFL-CIO lately, but he has at least 3 times called up and said, I want this to go out right away. And so yesterday, in order to stop sending so many emails from the AFL-CIO, yesterday I initiated the idea of a weekly newsletter, so that when people call Mark up and say, well, we want this to go out, we want this to go out, I'm hoping he'll just tell them, well, we'll put it in our weekly newsletter.
Yeah, that would be
otherwise,
great.
we're going to be sending out emails every day,
Yeah, and
nobody will open them.
Right.
Nobody will read it. If you send something every day, nobody's going to read it. So I'm trying to get it down to once a week, but we'll see how that goes, because everybody in the world is calling up Mark York now and saying, my project, get behind my project. And he's such a good guy. He says yes.
Okay.
He says yes, and then he turns it over to me and says, here, do something with this. And it won't work. We cannot just be sending out emails day after day.
No.
But he's activated the website. The AFL-CIO website is now got a lot of stuff on it. And I'm going to try to remember the URL for the Texas AFL-CIO website. It starts with tx.AFL-CIO/Dallas CLC. It's tx.AFL-CIO.org/Dallas CLC, and CLC stands for Central Labor Council.
Right.
Anyway, we started putting more stuff on there, pictures and stuff. We got pictures from last week's Labor Day activities. Man, that was something.
Wow, they had to set up more tables, Gene.
Yeah, you're talking about on Monday
On
when
Monday
we did the breakfast.
And then
They were still setting up tables after the speaking started.
Yes.
Because people were still coming in, and they were over 390.
Wow.
Mark was on this program last week, and he said they sold out of tickets.
Yeah.
And I think 390 was how many tickets. No, I think 360 was how many tickets they had. But they were over 390 people that came. Wow. Elected officials, just about all the elected officials in Dallas County were there, including the county judge, John Wiley Price, Teresa Daniels from the
Eddie Bernice Johnson,
Commissioner's Court, Eddie Bernice Johnson, Congressman Mark Vesey.
It was awesome.
It was really, really good. It was a real good send-off for Jim McCaslin, who is leaving the position of principal officer, and a really good start for the new principal officer, Mark York.
Yes.
So I loved that. I loved what happened on Saturday because we actually pulled off the first Labor Day march that's been held in this area since the 40s.
It was awesome.
And it wasn't the biggest march I've ever been in.
No, but it was really cool for Dallas, Texas, let me tell you.
Yeah, we had...
Except it was 105, but that's...
Yeah, it was 105 degrees. we had banners, and this is something new for us, because usually when you see a march in Dallas, it's just a mob. You know, you can't tell who's what and what they're for or anything. You know, they just go by and yell. And, you know, they know the people united will never be defeated, but that's about all you learn when the march goes by. This time we had separate contingents, each following their own banner. Like the banner I carried up toward the front was real jobs, real wages. So that was what we were marching for up toward the front. Then different unions had their own banners. That was good. They had iron workers were there, steel workers were there, communication workers. Different unions had their own banners, and then the community groups had their banners. TOP was there. The
Jobs with Justice.
Workers. Well, actually, TOP wasn't there. They had their own event across town.
Oh, that's right.
Workers Defense Project. That's what I was trying to think of. They were wearing red shirts, and they came right behind the teachers.
Who also had on red shirts.
Yeah, the teachers had their banner. The Alliance AFT had their banner, and they were all wearing red shirts. And then came the Workers Defense Project, and they had all red shirts. So it looked like one contingent with about 25 people, but really it was about 10 each from the two groups. And there's a small video of this. It's on my Facebook page, and my Facebook page is just Gene Lantz, GENELANTZ, Tango Zulu. So if you want to see that little 1 minute video, it's on my Facebook page. There's another video of what we were talking about earlier, where people spoke on the issue of low-wage workers inside the Texas Theater. So we had a meeting inside the Texas Theater where we talked, and then we went outside the Texas Theater and formed up into a march. Then we marched, and then we had a picnic.
Yeah.
So it was a hearing, then a march, and then a picnic.
It was great.
That's the way to do Labor Day.
Yes, it is. It was really fun.
It was really great.
And you know, the Democrats had a picnic
afterward. They had a really big
after the
picnic.
breakfast.
That was a mob.
I was
you
told.
You couldn't turn around in that room.
You couldn't, and I was told by several elected officials that was the largest turnout that they had ever seen for the Democratic
They've got to look for a
picnic.
bigger place.
Yeah.
They've got to look for a bigger place. You couldn't turn around in there.
Awesome.
And if you did turn around, there'd be somebody pushing a petition up.
That's
in your
right.
face.
You know, I was thinking, how can I make a stamp to, you know, because I'm
Make
like,
a rubber
okay,
stamp
hang
so
on.
you could
yeah,
sign
so I
all
could
these
just
petitions.
sign all the petitions because there was a lot.
I just quit signing them. Actually, I signed for my neighbor, Juan Hasso, who's a judge, justice of the peace.
Is he related to Delia?
Yeah, he's Delia's husband.
Okay, well that worked. There you go.
But he's my neighbor, you know. I know him very well.
That's cool.
And the rest of them, I didn't assign. I just told them I'm going to wait until Labor makes its endorsements. You know, Labor makes its endorsements fairly early in every campaign, and then we know which signs to put in our yard, you know, and who to promote and who to check out and stuff like that.
And I think we're actually talking to Mark about getting back into doing candidate screenings.
Yeah. Well, we had that. Well, they only stopped doing that just in the last couple of years.
Well, we need to get back to it.
We used to have meetings where the candidates would come and explain their positions and all that.
Exactly.
And that's a really good thing.
It is.
But they do have a manner of screening all the time because they have questionnaires, and the real process is supposed to be that the candidates fill out a questionnaire, and then they come in and actually talk to the executive
Right.
board, and then the executive board makes recommendations, and then the delegates make the endorsement.
Right.
That's the way the process is supposed to go.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
And you're saying we're going to get back to
I
that.
believe we are. Yes, Miss Hall and Mark have been talking, and
Well, the thing I like about it is I want somebody with the point of view of working people
right.
to make some kind of analysis, because I can't just do it all myself. You know, if you just read their campaign ads, well, if you believe that, you believe anything. You know, so you can't go by what they say in their campaign ads. You have to have somebody check up what's their record.
Right.
You know, what have they done in the past?
Exactly.
And,
How have they voted
what
on
did they say
things?
not just
What
what
did they
they're
say
saying-
last election cycle?
Yeah, not just what they're saying now, but what did they say last time?
Were they a Democrat or a Republican last election cycle? Because we have some flip-floppers around.
We have a lot of that.
Yeah, you know, okay, I'm a Republican. Uh-oh, Dallas is blue. Now I'm a Democrat.
My wife doesn't like me talking about using the word opportunist very much, but I use it all the time because it describes someone who really doesn't have any principles. Someone who just says whatever is opportune for them, you know, just to advance them personally in their own career. And so consequently, when you ask them what about this or that, they'll say, well, what would you like me to say? Because you know, they don't have any.
Because
real
I have no thoughts of my own.
And there's opportunism is the death of democracy.
Yep.
And it's a very, very bad thing for democracy, but it's prevalent. In fact, I would say most, if not all, well, not most, but all, not all, but most political figures are opportunists. In
Yep.
other words, they're primarily trying to advance their own careers, make more money, get more power.
They're certainly not
get more
about
popular,
us.
or
Yeah.
something like that.
That's
And
right.
it's certainly it's true in the labor movement too, that people
Oh.
they may or may not have the best interests of the union when they run for office. So you need some kind of way of figuring out who's who and what's what.
That's right. That's
why
right.
I like the FLCO screening process to kind of help me figure out who I'm going to like and who I don't.
Right.
They can't tell you who you're going to like and who you don't. It's not like they have any money or can push you one way or the other. Is Mark on the line? Okay, let's get Mark on. Thanks for calling KNON. Good morning, Mark. Don't hear you.
No, he lost
Push
him.
the wrong button.
Oh, I was going to say
Mark, if
call
you're
back, but-
listening, call again. Somebody pushed the wrong button, and so we didn't get the report from the AFL-CIO convention. That got cut off instead.
Okay,
If he
I'll
ever
bet
gets
that's him
back
calling
on
back.
there- If he ever gets back on there, we definitely want to hear this because, in my opinion, this is a historic convention.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to lead to major changes in the labor movement based on what the people said, because they've been gathering information online and in meetings. I held 2 of them myself, where we discussed everything and came up with answers to the questions that they asked
Right.
and sent it to them.
It was very interesting to attend those, and you know they have some of those at our convention,
At the Texas convention.
Texas AFL-CIO.
Yeah, the Texas
Yeah,
AFL-CIO convention. We had really good listening sessions there.
It was
Texas
good.
AFL-CIO is a very progressive organization.
It is, and I'm very happy to be a part of that.
Yes, me too.
It's awesome. They're really good, and you know it's just
And and I used to be one of those people that complains about the labor movement all the time. I really did. This is back before 1995. I griped about the labor movement all the time. But now I can hardly keep up with them. I mean, they just keep doing so many
Lots of
wonderful
stuff.
things.
Lots
and
of
these
stuff.
listening sessions were great. They got information, both online and over the phone, and from actual meetings. They held meetings all over the country. I held one. Job with Justice sponsored one, and then my retiree group did one here, and that was even before the Texas AFL-CIO convention. Then they held 3 of them at the Texas AFL-CIO convention. These were listening sessions
Right.
where somebody throws out a question or two, and everybody else comes and says, well, here's the answer. Here's what I want to see them do on this. Or they just brought up whatever they wanted to. If they want to talk about retirees, they could. If they want to talk about gays, they could. If they want to talk about women, they could. If they want to talk about organizing or not organizing or spending money or not or raising money. Anything that they wanted to talk about was in those listening sessions, and that all went to the National AFL-CIO, and they're digesting that as
they're
we
actually
speak.
listening.
In Los Angeles, California. They're out there right now figuring out the direction, what the recommended course for the American labor movement is going to be based on what the working people themselves said. What could be better than that? I can't imagine a better process than that. I think it's just wonderful.
Well, yeah, because the listening sessions.
Tell Mark to call back.
Mark's in L.A.,
Mark, call
so
back.
he's probably not.
Well, he may be listening on his computer.
Well, he may be.
But when we cut him off, he may not have much time because he's a delegate.
Yeah.
And so he may have to rush back to the floor or something like that. I'm really sorry that happened. And it was very nice of him to call. I didn't realize it, but I called him at 7 o'clock this morning and asked him to call in, and without realizing that it was 5 o'clock in the morning where he was. And he was just as nice about it as he could be.
Oh, that's sweet.
He didn't say, "Why are you calling me at 5 in the morning?"
What are you doing?
He just took the information, wrote down the number, and he did call a while ago.
Yep.
It was us that messed up and hit the wrong button, so we didn't get Mark's call. And I hope he's not offended.
Nah, he'll be all right.
Anyway, this convention I think is fabulous.
Yes.
And what a situation they have to confront. Unemployment dragging on, record numbers of long-term unemployment.
People have just stopped looking for a job.
That was the big news yesterday when the Bureau of Labor Statistics brought out its numbers. First thing they said was 169,000 new jobs, and so everybody's jumping up and down saying, yay, yay. Except, well, for one thing, if they don't get 200,000, they're not keeping up.
Right.
Because there's that many new people coming in the workforce. So if they don't get 200,000, they're not even keeping up. So 169,000, they said. But we have to revise the last 2 months where we said we got a really fabulous number of jobs, and now we realize that we didn't. So the last 2 months had to be, the expectations from the last 2 months were brought down, a downward revision of 74,000 to the earlier month's data.
That's a
brought
lot.
the average growth rate of the last 3 months to just 148,000 jobs. Well, if they're not getting 200,000 jobs, they're falling backwards.
Yep.
At this rate, says the, what's EPI? Economic Policy
Institute.
Economic Policy Institute says at this rate, it would take until well into 2021 to fill our gap of 8.3 million jobs and return to a healthy labor market. They're calling it a healthy labor market. They say that's what we had in 2007 before the crash.
Right.
I don't think even in 2007 it wasn't all that great.
No.
Furthermore, they say, though the unemployment rate dropped in August, it was for all the wrong reasons. The labor force participation rate dropped to its low of the downturn, only 63.2%. In other words, of all of the people that ought to be looking for a job, only 63.2% are looking for a job. They've given up. They've gone back to school. They've moved in with their mom and dad. They've killed themselves. They're in jail. Yeah. Something is keeping them from going out and looking for a job in the previous month.
And if you are over 50 and you have been long-term unemployed, it is not easy to find a job. And it's certainly, I promise you're not going to find a job that making what you were making, which is really sad.
Okay, is somebody calling us now? I think so.
Yep.
I see a buttoning. 972-647-1893 is the number if you do want to call. The number of people that are so-called missing workers, and these are people that should be looking for a job that aren't, is 3.8 million, Bonnie. 3.8 million people out there hurting. And now we got somebody calling us. Thank you for calling KNON. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Gene. Mark York, Alice AFL-CIO. How are you and Bonnie doing this morning?
Good morning, Mark.
Let us start with an apology. Somebody hit the wrong button when you called a while ago and it hung up on you. I'm so
That's
sorry.
quite all right.
Well, what's going on with the AFL-CIO convention? Is that as exciting as we've been hoping?
Absolutely. We're kind of to be kicking it off starting today. There's a lot of high energy going on here in Los Angeles. Richard Trump is in town. And their theme this year is going to be trying to affiliate and create a political alliance that is more effectively to counter the right success.
So we're going to have a bigger coalition.
Yes, absolutely. They're working towards building alliances with such groups as the NAACP, the Sierra Club, and the National Council of La Raza. and
Wow.
it's to strengthen the left's political power.
So this is a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah. That's
This
pretty
is pretty
Oh, yeah.
monumental.
Well,
That's
what
great.
they're trying to do here, from what I'm understanding, and I'm all on board with this, is they're going to create an economic and political and legislative climate where our members can succeed.
So
Of course, we all know our opposition, backed by the Tea Party, are well financed and determined, and we're too small to do it alone.
right.
But the AFL-CIO's new moves comes as we're looking at non-traditional labor groups as we're gaining members, like organizing those strikes at Walmart and the fast food restaurants.
Have you talked to other people there? What's the mood? Are they upbeat or downbeat, or how are people seem to be feeling?
Well, I be quite honest with you, I got here quite late yesterday after being bonded out of jail.
You just got out of jail. You just got out of jail in time to get up there.
Yeah, literally. I left from jail to the airport.
God, you poor thing.
That was Becky Moeller last night, our Texas AFL-CIO president, and we are laying out our meetings that are about to start this morning.
Yeah.
But the people that I have spoke to are extremely excited with our new number 2 executive vice president, Safari Jabri, and swearing him in, and everyone's very excited. They're starting to come in by the hundreds.
Yeah, that new vice president is from Ethiopia or something, right?
Yes, he is. He is a refugee from Ethiopia. He is the president of the Orange County Labor Federation here in Los Angeles, and they have done some fantastic work building the labor movement here in L.A. In Orange County, I guess it was probably run by Ronnie Reagan and his group.
Yes, it was. That's
Yes,
where
it
Nixon
was.
is from, too.
Yeah.
Orange County is outside of Los Angeles. It's where San Bernardino is, and it's got a reputation as being pretty right-wing. But you say this guy came up and became the head of the labor movement there.
Yes, he did, and swung the pendulum back to pro-labor, and they have quite a group there that also covers, I believe, Disneyland or Disney.
Yeah.
Walt Disney.
Disneyland. Yeah.
Yes, and they're doing fantastic work there. They're even teaching, as we discussed last week, labor classes in the elementary school.
Wow.
So,
Labor classes in elementary school. Boy, that
What a
sounds
novel concept. Actually teaching history.
great.
Yes.
I would love to see that. And so we're really looking forward to your return, Mark. And I'm so sorry that I called you so early this morning. And I'm so sorry that we hung up on you earlier. But you're a mensch to call us and let us know what's going on at the National AFL-CIO convention.
Oh, that's quite, Gene, it's my pleasure to call into y'all's show, and I'm really looking forward when I get back reporting about the great things that are coming towards organized labor, especially for those of us in Dallas County.
You know, we ought to set up a special meeting just for that.
Yep.
Instead of just waiting for the next Central Labor Council meeting, we ought to have a report back meeting or something like that. So when you get back, call me and we'll see what we can set up. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
All
Mark.
Thanks so
Also,
much. That's Mark York, Principal Officer of the Dallas Central Labor Council. He's the financial
Secretary Treasurer.
secretary.
We have to take a break because we're late.
We'll be right back.
Tell you all a story that's close to me. A worker
Y'all
who's
still
leaning
there?
on a bended knee.
Gene?
Recycle Revolution is a local recycling collection service and community drop-off center. They collect and accept all traditional recyclables, including paper, plastic, aluminum, cardboard, and glass, as well as TVs, computers, lamps, light bulbs, batteries, ballasts, and styrofoam. They offer collection services to apartments, condos, and businesses. They also offer a community drop-off located at 1703 Chestnut Street in Dallas. For more information, 214-566-3025 or recyclerevolutiondallas.com.
Sweet 16, Louisiana Red, and I'm celebrating my 16th anniversary on KNON, Saturday, September the 21st, at the Sons of Herman Hall, with my good friend, T.J. Hooker Taylor, son of Dallas Blues legend Johnny Taylor, the hit maker, Little Jimmy and the Feedback Band, and James Why'd You Answer My Cell Phone Butler. Doors will open at 7 p.m., music at 8 p.m. I'll be DJing and MCing with that down-home blues and soul mix. So come on out and party with me. Tickets are available now at knon.org. Bill's Records in Dallas. Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie. The Sons of Herman Hall is located at 3414 Elm Street in Dallas. That's T.J. Hooker Taylor, Lil Jimmy, and the Feedback Band, James Butler, and a big party at the Sons of Herman Hall, celebrating 16 years of Louisiana Red's Down Home Blues and Soul Mix on KNON, the voice of the people. This is a KNON benefit, sponsored in part by Beneficial Consultant Services, LLC.
I wake up in the morning at 4:45. The alarm clock is relentless, for goodness sakes alive.
972-647-1893. We are having too much fun here to not be able to share it. So why don't you call us and join the fun? 972-647-1893.
Gene, I want to remind everybody, Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we have a meeting. This is a big meeting, folks. We're expecting 200 to 300 people. Please come out and find out the real truth about the Affordable Care Act. That's what's commonly being called Obamacare. Just because Governor Perry did not accept the federal money, there are still insurance exchanges being set up that you will be able to participate in.
Governor Perry's done everything he could to screw this up, but it's still going to happen.
That's right.
And so people just need to find out how to do what they're going to do.
And that is at the Zan Holmes Community Life Center. 6211 East Grand Avenue. Okay? And for more information, call 214-729-1119.
I have a notion where that is. You go by Grand Park. You get off of Highway 30 and go past Grand Park.
Yes.
And go on further down Grand Avenue.
Yes,
right.
it's
and
kind of across
church on the left.
Yes, and it's kind of across from Tennyson.
Used to be part of St. Luke's. I don't know if it still is.
It is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and the number to call for that is 214-729-1119. The number to call KNON to get your voice on the radio today is 972-647-1893. I just want to say one more thing about yesterday's unemployment numbers. If we didn't have all these discouraged people not looking for jobs. See, they're saying that the unemployment rate is 7.3%, and that alone is a tragedy and a shame. But if all these other people that are supposed to be looking for a job, if they actually were looking for a job, the unemployment rate would be 9.5%. And that's using the American system, which is really kind of flawed to begin with. The Europeans keep a little bit better record of how many unemployed they have than they do in the United States. So this 7.3%, don't be fooled, brothers and sisters. No. Unemployment is a lot worse than 7.3%. And 7.3% is almost twice what it ought to be.
And it
ought to be 4%.
We had labor in the pulpit last week. You, I believe you preached at, you spoke at Ed Middleton's church.
I spoke at First Community, yeah.
And I did the labor in the pulpit at Light of Love. And I looked up minimum wages all over the world. Do you know the minimum wage in Germany is $16.68 an hour?
That'll be in American dollars, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what it ought to be here.
That's right.
Arlington's on the line. Let's put him on. Wake up over there.
Hello, excuse us.
Let's put Arlington on the line. Hey, folks. Well, we can't get the attention of the people running the board. They're carrying on some other kind of conversation. We'll be right with you, Arlington.
Arlington, just hang on just for a second.
And we appreciate your
call. Put Arlington on the line.
Put Arlington on the phone,
there
please.
There we go.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling KNON.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to call in. I've been listening to your show for a number of years, mostly online, in other places. in Europe as well. So I was really excited to hear the description of the march on Labor Day.
Yeah.
And it got me, I'm reading a book by Philip Foner about the history of May Day.
Yes.
And the parade you described was really great. Folks in red, people marching behind banners, and it's very exciting. I'm glad to be here and hoping to join y'all.
Good.
I guess the question I have as a newcomer is for teachers. You mentioned, I think, a teachers group. What kinds of labor groups there are here in DFW that I might get involved with? I'm at the university level.
I see. Well, there's, of course, they have the University Professors Union, which is not really much of a union. I used to be in that. The American Federation of Teachers is the dominant teachers group here.
Yes.
Arlington, you may know that teachers tend to have a lot of company unions. A lot of districts, a lot of school districts will have their own union just for that particular district, and it's basically a company union that works with that particular district. But the American Federation of Teachers is the national organization, and here in Dallas, they represent all the teachers.
Yes.
And they are the largest single union local in the state of Texas, and we call them Alliance AFT. But the alliance is to cover the fact that some of the members of this alliance are not actually in the AFT. They're in the National Education Association or one of the other ones, leftover company unions. But the AFT has the right to represent them all, and that's the situation in Dallas. And they're a very progressive union.
Yes, they are. They're located over in the Bishop Arts District.
Yes.
All right.
And they have got, the AFT in Texas has got 50 organizers on the ground. They are going around right now building up their strength because they're under attack. The Republican administration in Texas since 1996 has pretty well robbed the schools, done dirty to the teachers, cheated the children, and have made kind of a wreck of their commitment to having public education in Texas. So the teachers are coming back strong and putting these organizers on the ground. And there's a number of them right here in Dallas that are organizing.
Right. Well, I'm hoping they're. I'll contact the group. I think one of the things you mentioned about Walmart workers and the folks working at Walmart, something similar is happening in the university level, which is part-time employment. Right. So universities are moving more and more towards hiring more what they call adjunct professors on a part-time basis without benefits.
Right.
So it's really the Walmart management model to some degree that's
exactly right.
really working into the universities. So, yeah, thanks for taking my call, and well done. I look forward to getting to know y'all.
Before you hang up, where are you? You said you listen to us wherever you are, even in Europe. Where are you?
Oh, now I'm in Arlington.
Right now you're in Arlington.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
you listened to this program while you were in Europe.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was in school for a while. So
Thank you. That makes us feel so good.
You don't know how.
We're so worldly.
Let's ask for salaries.
Right?
This is a good time for us to ask for salaries.
Yeah, good luck
we'll
with
get
it.
Arlington's testimony.
Yeah, thanks. Well, how many shows are there like Workers Beat? I don't know. I don't know of any others.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we'll look forward to hearing more from you.
And meeting you. Absolutely. Come out to stay in touch with our labor activities.
Okay, let's go on to Charlie and see what Charlie has to say for KNON. Thanks for calling KNON, brother.
Hey, Gene. Charlie here from Fort Worth. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the unemployment and how it relates to the Social Security. All those people that are not employed are not paying in.
That's right.
And when their turn comes, they're going to be drawing out.
Yes, they will.
And I was with a group that met the other day with Congressman Vesey. And we were discussing the chain CPI with the Alliance for Retired Americans.
Right.
We were discussing about removing the cap, and he seems to be on board with those issues.
Yep.
And I just wanted to relay that on to you. I know you have an interest in that.
Charlie, tell us what you mean by removing the cap. Scrap the cap.
Well,
what does that mean?
Right now, there's a certain amount of money that you make, and I believe it's around up to $104,000. And once you get over that, you no longer pay into Social Security.
But you get
those
to draw.
People that are out there making millions of dollars are no longer paying in.
Oh, I
see. People like myself that may make $50,000, $60,000, I continue to pay from from the time I'm in.
Right. So you'll
they
pay
want to
Social
change
Security all your working life, and these rich people they don't pay into Social Security after they get their first 100,000 or so.
That is correct. That is correct. So
you
by
were with
removing
the Alliance
that,
for Retired
that would
Americans
add
when you went to
millions of dollars to the system.
That was a Alliance for Retired Americans group that you went to Congressman Vesey with, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and they're pretty active. And I think you work your whole life, and as soon as you get to the time that you're able to start to retire, you've got a certain group of people want to take away that from you also.
That's for sure.
They're just dying to take it. I saw your picture on Facebook. It looked like you had a big delegation.
We certainly did. We had a big delegation. It's going to continue to grow, and we're going to be working on some of our other representatives that need to see the light, so to speak.
Charlie, that is just wonderful.
But I think you guys are doing a great job on the show, and it's glad to hear from you. And I just got done with my granddaughter's soccer game and over in Arlington, and I heard you mention Arlington, and it perked my ears up there.
Okay.
I thought I better call in before the show's over and say hello and let you know what we're working on over here.
Thank you
so
much.
So great.
Thank you.
That's inspiring, isn't it?
That is. That's awesome.
I could use a dozen of these inspiring calls.
Thank you. Everybody makes us feel good.
972-647-1893. Call us. Make us feel puffed up.
That's right.
Me and Bonnie are getting ready to ask for salaries.
Yeah. That's.
You know how far they're going to kick us out of that office when we ask
pretty
for
quickly.
salaries.
Pretty quickly.
972-647-1893. And the guy is right. This unemployment situation is making everything else worse.
Yeah.
Because the unemployed are not paying Social Security. That's not helping Social Security. They're not paying Medicare. That's not helping Medicare.
They're not buying any goods and services because they don't have any money, so that hurts everybody else.
That's right. So
it's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
And it's about breaking that circle of poverty that will lift everybody up.
Here's something else that's hurting. The explosion in food stamp enrollment, the percentage of American households experiencing food shortages remains stubbornly high, with so-called insecure families having 26% less for food than a typical so-called secure household of the same size. So this is insecure families. It's 14.5% of households in America don't have enough to eat. They're calling it food insecurity, which is just sound like a nice way of saying it, but they don't have enough to eat. This is a number that's consistent with findings since the economic downturn in 2008, but substantially higher than the decade that we had before that. So it's unusual for Americans to be going around hungry, but now there's 14.8% of the families
and you know what's
don't
really
have enough to eat. And you know the food banks are having a hard time.
They can't keep up
meeting the need. And of course, a lot of people won't even ask for help.
Right. And what's really sad, a lot of these families are working 1 or 2 jobs, but they're not making enough to make the rent, pay the electricity, and put food on the table. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just, it's really sad. These are working families that are applying and receiving food stamps and other types of public assistance.
You know, your microphone's not as loud as mine.
It's not?
I can hear you in my earphones, but just barely.
Okay.
Alicia's working.
Yes,
so,
that's a big plus.
So that's something.
So somebody can't hear me.
Well, the situation is very, very desperate, but now we want to give away on all of this cheerful stuff that we've been saying and let Jim Schutz come in.
The darkest hour in radio.
In a world where everything is dark.
That's right.
And we're talking about city government. I hope he talks about Mike Miles, because that's on the front page of the paper. The teachers are running a petition calling for the resignation of Mike Miles.
Yep.
If you don't have a copy of their petition, you can get it from Alliance AFT. They have a petition calling for Mike Miles to go back to Colorado. His family's already there.
He's also put his house on the market, so there you go.
And his house is on the market?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week, and now I'm turning you over to the darkest hour on the radio with Jim Schutz.
And get off my lawn. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.